Yo, what's up, man? It's your boy Brian Keith, man. Coming at you again with a hell of a topic, man. And it's called Immigration is a Curse to Black People. Now, what do I mean by that? You got to realize, man, black people been over here from the beginning. All right? We came shortly after the Caucasians came. Because they needed somebody to build this country up. And basically they did it on free labor, on our backs. You had Mexicans in the southwestern part of the United States. Like in Texas, California, Nevada, Arizona. And you had Indians everywhere else. And you got to realize, man, I'm not knocking the Mexicans. I'm not knocking the Indians. They were done wrong. This was the Indian stuff first. You know what I'm saying? They owned it all. And, you know, they trusted the wrong people. And they got taken advantage of, man. You know, when their numbers were strong, they could have alleviated that problem. But they came over and they trusted what they call the pale skin. They trusted the white man and they lost it all. They signed treaties that the white man didn't respect. The white man gave promises and then they took their lands. What's done is done, man. You can't go back in time, all right? America is what America is now. Same thing with Mexicans. You know, they lost Texas during the Alamo and different other things, you know. France, they sold us a lot of the land in the Gulf area during the I forgot what it was called, but it was the Paris something, I forgot, man. It don't even matter. But we bought, was the Louisiana Purchase, right? We bought all of that, right? And I think we bought it from France. I'm pretty sure, because they spoke French in New Orleans and down that way. But this is what you got to realize. You can't focus on that. You got to focus on the here and now. Okay? And the here and now says is that if Mexicans want to come to the United States, then they need to do it legally. Period, man. And the American Indians, you know, they got their different reservations and stuff, and they get a lot of tax breaks and things. So, you know, it is what it is, man. You know, they went to war back in the day. The Pilgrims and the Indians, they went to war, and the white man kept coming over here, and they kept taking more and more land, man. I mean, that's the way it went down. But see, black people, we were either stolen, hijacked, you know, off the out of South Africa and the coast of Africa, or we were sold by our own people. We had other Africans hunting us to sell us to the white man, to bring us over here. We lost millions, man, of our people in the slave trade. They never made it to America. They were thrown overboard, shark bait, you know. So you got to look at it like this. For the ones of us that did come, we paid our dues, man. You know, the people that was here for hundreds and hundreds of years, they were slaves. They paid their dues. And in the end of the day, they were set free, and set free into a society that actually was meant for them to fail. It was meant for them to really still have to depend on the white man. Back in those days, that's how it was. Black people were servants and shoe shiners and, you know, gardeners, and I mean, you name any mediocre job, job, from housekeeping to wet nursing. And if you don't know what wet nursing is, that was when black women would feed the white women children with their own breasts. For the women that was pregnant and had babies, they titty fed the white babies. That's what wet nursing was. I mean, we did all kinds of stuff from cleaning up beds and straightening them out, and you know, cleaning clothes, grocery shopping, babysitting, mechanic work, you know, anything, man. We did all of that stuff. A lot of the jobs that we did, we had to do for survival. Which brings me to my point of immigration. What most people don't realize is when the immigrants come to America, they're not starting off working for General Motors. They're not working for General Electric. They're not working for Google. You know, they're not competing for jobs like managerial jobs and things of that sort. They're doing the mediocre jobs that we did a long time ago. They're cleaning hotel rooms. They're paving roads, and, you know, gardening, and, you know, picking fruit, and, you know, doing construction, pickup work, you know, in front of Lowe's. Whatever they can do, because they know that they're under the table and they got to be paid cash. So people take advantage of them, which is not right. They get taken advantage of all the time. But what you got to realize is they come over, they cut in line on other people that was actually waiting years to get into the United States legally, and they just jump the fence. And they come over, hundreds, thousands, millions of them will come over to America. And I know what I mean by when black people, what the sad part is the reason why I say that immigration is a curse on black people, is that most black people don't even know. They don't even know that they're being cursed. They're out picketing. They're out, you know, fighting a good fight. Wow, you know, this and that. Trump's racist. He you know, he don't want the immigrants over here. He want to send them back home. Things of that. Obama sent a lot of them home. Actually, I think Obama sent more of them home at this point in time, but Trump only been the president for less than a year now. So those numbers will rise. But this is what you got to realize. Immigration does not help black people. See, those first generation Mexicans that come over to the United States. And once again, I want to say, I love Mexican people. I love Mexican food. I love the country. I love, you know, I love everything about it. I've been to Mexico, you know what I'm saying? So I love Mexican people, you know. It's not a slap against Mexican people. But you got to remember, you got Mexicans that feel the same way that I do about Mexicans cutting in line, jumping over the fence. And a lot of them ain't even Mexicans. A lot of them are South Americans coming out of Nicaragua and Guatemala and different places like that. They're not just regular Mexicans right over the border. I mean, some of them are, but I mean, you got a lot of South Americans coming up to the United States. You can kind of tell the South Americans a little different. The Mexicans, they're short, but not as short. The South Americans are a lot shorter. They're a lot shorter, and they got more of an indigenous look to them. It's kind of easy to tell them apart. When I was in Mexico, a lot of the people were my height. You know, I'm 5'11" and a half, right at 6 foot. So most of the Mexicans, a lot of them, you know, not all of them, but it was some that was my height. But when you go down in South America, I would be a giant down there. So we're talking about South Americans more than anything, I feel. And this is what you got to realize. They're coming to America and they're doing the mediocre work. They're doing mediocre work now. But see, their kids are going to be born here. And that constitutes them basically having an anchor baby. So then everybody gets mad and get upset when they get caught, and then they got to send the parents back across the border. But what do you do with the children? Okay, that's what you call DACA. That's the DREAM Act. That's what the big issue is going on in America right now. It's the DREAM Act. What do we do with all these kids that came over? That then some of them were little. They weren't born here. Most of them came over when they were young and they were raised here. Some of them are cops, postal workers. Some of them are in the military. Some of them work where you work at right now. Their parents were immigrants. They came over the border illegally. So what do we do with those people? Okay? That's the big issue. See, this is what you got to realize. There's no cutting in line, man. You know, and whatever repercussions happen with that, it is what it is. Let me explain something to you. Trump is doing every black person a major favor by sending those people back to South America and back to Mexico. Why? I'm gonna tell you why. Because when they kids grow up, their kids are not gonna be picking fruit. Their kids are not gonna be working construction and standing out front of Lowe's looking for pickup work. No. Their kids are going to be in the front of the line like some of them already are. That's at the post office when you can't even work at the post office. Some of them are cops when you can't even be a cop. Some of them are working at managerial positions like at clothing stores and restaurants. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that that's a problem. But this is what you got to realize. We are at the bottom. Below Asians. Well, Asians are below us as far as the population count. But we are the third major majority when we used to be the second major majority. Now it's whites, Mexicans, and black. Now, I'm going to be honest. If I was in line and getting ready to work at a company and my qualifications was the same as Mr. Hernandez's is, and human resources was completely Mexican, the managers was completely Mexican, and I'm coming in to try to get a job. Yeah, it's just like the same situation that you'll be in when you walk in there and Mr. Thomas, a white guy, and everybody else in human resources is in control of that company. And you walk in as a black man and there's a white person there. What's going to happen? You got to be extra qualified to get into that position. Because if not, if you're side by side another white person, Mr. Thomas is going to hire the white person. I just feel that way. Yeah, I know that don't sound too conservative, but I don't always, like I say, I'm an independent. I'm not a conservative. I'm a conservative, but I'm not a Republican. And it'll be the same way if Mr. Hernandez was in line to get a job and I was side next to him. And let's say my child or my grandkid was about to try to get a job and it was completely Mexican ran, then yeah, they might hire some blacks. But I think you get the picture. And the thing is, you got to look at it. Let's flip it. Let's look at the ones that's coming over that don't even know Spanish. They don't connect with your cause. They ain't connecting with Black Lives Matter. They not connecting with black people getting beat. They're not connecting with black people getting racism done against them. They're not connecting with black people, you know, the violence that not only that we cause, but also the violence that's caused against us by other methods. They're not in your corner. They're not a part of your cause, but yet you make them a part of your cause. And that's the sad part. You make them a part of your cause, but they'll never be a part of your cause. Let's flip it again. Let's say if all Mexicans were the black people in America and black people were coming over from Mexico. Let's say Mexico was Africa next to America right here. And Africans kept jumping the border and coming into America, taking up resources, taking up jobs. And let's say our African gangs like MS-13 and other gangs that come out of South America, let's say our African gangs was coming over here, taking over street corners and everything like that, being extra violent. I mean, think about that. Do you think the Mexicans would be in your corner if it was droves of black people jumping over the border, coming into America, taking the jobs, running the streets? I mean, you know, taking up all the resources. Do you feel honestly in your heart that the Mexicans over in America would care about your cause, about you coming over? Do you think they would care if they were shipping black people back across the border? Do you think they would care? I mean, be honest with yourself. I don't think so. So why in the fuck would you care? It's crazy. Okay, you're at the bottom. You need to worry about yourself. You need to start worrying about everybody else. You don't even see Asians out picketing and doing none of that. You know why? Because Asians are in the top bracket in America. They above white people. They got the best jobs, live in the best communities. You know, when it comes to saving money, when it comes to starting businesses, things of that nature. I'm not saying all Asians. You got some Asians in the culture that's just like black people. We got our bad element of our culture as well. But it's a very small percentage of them versus a big high percentage of black people that's not doing the right things to get us ahead in this world. That's what I'm saying, man. Immigration is a curse against black people, man. We've been here. We've been in line. Now let me break something else down. Obama was in office for 8 years. Trump get in office, and the first thing Trump says is he's going to stop immigration from Muslims. He's going to stop immigration from all these Muslim countries that's on the terror watch list. And most of them were on the terror watch list because Obama placed them on the terror watch list. So let's say he say, okay, we're going to stop all this crazy immigration coming over from people that we can't vet. Okay, that's a check mark for black people. Let's say he say we're going to stop and build a wall between Mexico and America to stop immigration. What you dumbasses don't know is that is a check mark for black people. Why? Because that's going to slow down the flow. It's not going to stop it. You can still have people coming over, but it's going to put a big ass bandage over the border. Okay, they're hiring more border patrol agents and things such as that. Okay, why do you think in your wildest dream, I don't know, wildest dreams, that Mexicans coming over to America is helping you in any kind of way? You got to be a dumbass to think that. And like I say, I don't have nothing against Mexicans, but you got to be a dumbass. If they want to come over the legal way, so be it, man. That's what America is about. But if you coming over illegally, then you need to be sent back. Now, as far as your kids, hey, I'm sorry, man. I don't know. I'm going to leave that up to the politicians to decide. I don't want to send nobody back, especially after they're grown up in America. But we got to put a plug on this shit so it don't keep happening. So if we do let the ones that's here stay, well, what about the ones that's finna jump the border? Now that they say, okay, well, they get to stay, well, we need to flood the border again and jump over. Now we got the same goddamn problem. We got to have something that's going to plug that up. Okay, or slow it down, at least. So you black people that's talking about, oh, man, we don't need no wall and Trump races and that. No, you dumb. That's all it is. You stupid. You don't know no better. That ain't helping you. The small resources that we got at the bottom of the totem pole is being used up. Mexicans right now is about, what, 20-some%, 23, 24, 25% of the population. And blacks is about 13 or 14% of the population. So use your head, man. Do you honestly believe that making more of them coming over is helping your cause? That's dumb, man. Obama's dumb for thinking that way. The Democrat Party's dumb for thinking that way. And liberals dumb for thinking that way. Dumb as hell for thinking that way. Let me explain something to you. During Obama's term, he fought for gays. He fought for gays. What else did he fight for? He fought for immigrants, like the Muslims. He fought for immigration, like the Mexicans coming over. He fought for everybody, but he didn't fight for you. And there entails the problem. They did not fight for you. You are at the very bottom of the totem pole. Nobody's fighting for you. You know why? Because they know you ain't going nowhere. You're going to stay in your lane. You need to switch lanes. You need to let them know no more of that. Like I say, man, I ain't got nothing against Mexicans. I ain't got nothing against Muslims. I ain't got nothing against East Indians or whoever. But whoever come over here, they need to come over here legally. On a real work visa, things such as that. Not jumping the border and cutting in line. Because it's not helping black people at all. And if you think that it is, then you're a damn fool. Nobody's helping you. You got to learn to help yourself. And what you're going to have to do to learn how to help yourself is to start understanding the policies that are hurting you. And if you don't know those policies that's hurting you, then you just a sitting duck. You just a sitting duck. And that's the problem. It's easy to manipulate black people. It's easy. We gullible. Still at the bottom of the totem pole. And ain't nobody did nothing in your cause. When is the Democrats going to start saying, what can we do to help black people crime? What can we do to start helping black people get better jobs and educate them and get them out these projects and things such as that? When are we going to start teaching businesses skills to young black men? When are we going to go into the inner cities and have meetings with so the cops can get in tune with the community? Things such as that, man. Okay? When are we going to get these banks to start loosening up some of the regulations so more black people can get loans? Because most of us, our credit shot, we ain't got no savings. But yet at the same time, we was the ones that America said that we was going to get 40 acres and a mule. We ain't got jack shit. Obama made sure the South Vietnamese got their check. He made sure that Holocaust victims got their check. That's what Obama did. Google it. We ain't gonna get no check. Ain't nobody coming to save you. You gotta save yourself. Okay? And by saving yourself, you need to stop believing the Democrats, everything they tell you. They want you to line up behind their cause because it's all about votes, man. They don't care about these immigrants. It's all about votes. That's what it's about. And what do votes do? Votes get to change the political landscape. They want their agenda pushed. They want to be able to stay in power to change America as we know it. And like I say, this is the resistance. I'm not with it. We ain't finna loosen these straps around America and just let it go to hell in a handbasket. I'm not with it. That's why I'm talking to you now. I know this was a serious video. Straight to the point. No chaser. But it is what it is, man. I said what I had to say. This your boy Bryant Keith. And you can find me on Facebook, man. Somebody told me that they can't find me at the real Bryant Keith. At real Bryant Keith. So just try Bryant Keith. And you should be able to find me. One or the other. But anyway, man, this your boy. Coming at you once again, man. Happy New Year to you. It's 2018. I wish you a blessed one. Prosperous one. You know, I wish you the best. And like I say, man, get your conservative values, man. Get them up. Let your liberal values go this way and let your conservative values go this way, man. You're going to have a better life. Trust me, man. It's your boy.